Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Hope you're having a good morning. Well, for starters, we're likely to start off a little bit on the back foot, maybe a 30-point downtick. But yesterday, we saw a good recovery from the low point of the day, 130 points higher from the low point of the day. So that was pretty good going as well. Amisha Vora, Chairman and Managing Director at Prabhudas Lilladher, joins us on the show. Hi, Amisha. Good morning. Good to speak to you. Well, Amisha, let's focus on the sector that's disappointed in the last few days. That's the tech space. Now, the debate is out there that some of these stocks have seen a sharp correction, but valuation-wise, they could be providing an entry opportunity for a longer-term investor. What's your view on the big tech companies?
So one is that markets right now in a very unpardoning mode. That's how the reactions to any disappointment will be very sharp, and that's what the beginning we saw, and I think this trend will continue. But within the sector, and particularly the disappointment which Infosys saw, I think one of the reasons was in the December quarter, highest addition was done in this stock. So that means it is what has come is a complete surprise to market in one of the widely held, widely covered stock. And commentary is no great. So overall, I think that this little coldness to the IT stocks in the portfolio weight will continue for a while longer. But coming back to the fact that are they at a price where a lot is discounted? I would say yes. So the time consolidation will continue in the stocks, and the real price upside will be little away. Downside could be limited is the only thing that we probably know at this juncture.
All right, so you're saying if the downside is limited and perhaps the worst is in the price, Amisha, is this a good time to be buying IT stocks? I think that's what my colleague Nigel was also asking you, because with now the kitchen sink thrown at the IT sector, one seems to believe that what else can go wrong, right? Your thoughts? Is it a good time to be buying?
Right. Well, you're right, but the fact is in December quarter, everybody went overboard on Infosys in particular, and IT was also gradually becoming from huge underweight to neutral. So having that act being done, even if the price is good, it's going to take time before you increase your weight is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that's the thought on the IT sector. Amisha, hi, good morning. Yesterday, we saw some evidence of it. Money was quickly trying to move away from IT, and I think banks were the big beneficiaries, right? Even tier 2 banks, a lot of PSU bank stocks were up 5, 6, 7% yesterday. Now, while that's a tactical move, purely from a more fundamental standpoint, an investor standpoint, would you allocate incremental money to financials? And if yes, then what kind of stocks? I mean, we've seen numbers from HDFC Bank, for instance. So do you go there to the tier 1? Do you look at tier 2?
So on a slightly macro basis, if you see, last 1 year and particularly some of the last few months also, we've been continuously seeing FIs selling. And with that, a lot of pressure used to come on banks. Plus the global banking crisis also led little more pressure on banking. So while our credit growth, NIM and asset quality continues to be robust and good, banking sector was at a receiving end. So basis that switch also, I feel that it is more a domestic sector as compared to IT, which is a global sector. And the overweight stance in banking particularly will continue, and so the stocks will do well. Now, coming to HDFC Bank and its numbers, it is trying to prepare itself for the very large merger. So we continue to see how they build a little more cash, how that continues to have an impact on their NIM. And as compared to most of the other private sector large banks who saw their NIM expansion by 25-30 bips this year, HDFC Bank saw just about 10-12 basis points. But going forward, as gradually we leave the merger uncertainties and preparations behind, which will still take time, I guess 24 will more or less go into that. From 25 perspective, we still feel HDFC Bank on a merge basis has almost 15 to 18% still on the table for investor. In the short term, we still have, or rather the medium term, we still have ICICI Bank as our top pick.
All right. Amisha, what about Z? I don't know whether you're tracking this one, but Z, yesterday you had a large trade. Some would believe maybe it's the last, big trade before we get through to that merger. And the hope is that it actually takes place. It gets the green signal from all the regulators. What's your view on the stock? Valuation-wise, well, it's attractive, but it's always been attractive. There are risks on the table as well. How do you approach the stock in this 200, 210 odd range?
So, as what you very rightly said, that the valuation has been attractive, probably at 250 also before the whole fiasco on, IndusInd Bank and other things happened. I would still say that at around 200 levels, a lot is in the price, and it is a very large franchise. And post the merger, it will become a dominant franchise. So the pain might continue in the very immediate short term in terms of price. But if one takes a little medium term view, I think this is a very good level for the stock.
All right. Amisha, I do want to, I want your views on a whole host of other sectors like autos, etc. But I'll just come to that in a bit. The other